Journey with Judy. Honest, open, transparent. It's hot.
There's no such thing as perfect people. There's no such thing.
Good morning. Welcome to the Journey with Judy show right here on Lake 96.1 Memorial Day weekend. Woo, woo. I mean, I'm sure everybody is just super excited, even though we can never know what the weather is going to bring in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin on Memorial Day. It is what it is, and we do what we can do, and we absolutely embrace this place and space that we get to live in, which is actually voted, I think, one of the top resorts in the country. Like, it's just so amazingly beautiful, regardless of the weather. It's just awesome to live here. So here's the deal. I moved to Lake Geneva full-time 2003. So Robin just helped me with my math. That was approximately 14 years ago. And what's so crazy is it was 14 years ago right now that my man and I were moving on Memorial Day weekend. And it was very different 14 years ago because at that point, my man and I were in the process of getting a divorce. Okay, my kids were 2, 4, 6, and 8, or maybe 0, 2, 4, and 6. I'm not sure. I'm not very good at math. But in any event, we were done. Our marriage was over, and we were moving on. And so the dynamic and everything surrounding our move was very different. But here's what's the same. 14 years later, we are moving on Memorial Day. We have been moving. My house has finally sold. So excited about that. Ready to be moving on and closing this chapter of our life. It's way sadder for my kids than it is for me. This move is something out of necessity, right? I mean, it's just time. It's just fiscally responsible to close this chapter, downsize. It's so funny because I moved from a 10,000 square foot house in St. Charles, Illinois to a 7,500 square foot house here in Fontana, Wisconsin. And now I'll be moving to something considerably smaller. And what's so funny is my kids think we're moving to the ghetto. They think that this is the ghetto. And what I said to my kids was, when you have a house, okay, that's this much money, and it doesn't matter about the money. What I'm saying is when you can pay for your own house, I hope that you have a house that's as nice as the ghetto house that I'm moving you to. Because here's the deal, like, it's still a pretty great house, and I am not looking back with one single regret. I mean, if I had to do some things different, I probably would have been mindful about all the amenities that I have in my home right now. But the reality is my man and I are in such a different place. And so not on the verge of a divorce, although this moving thing could cause a divorce. Just so you know, moving and getting married are like the two top things to push people over the edge. Moving and getting married, because it's such a stressful thing. And here's why. We do things different. Like, in my eyes, it's wise to do it this way, right? In my man's eyes, it's wise to do it an absolutely different way. So he thinks you should, like, get in a room, pack it all up from start to finish, clean it, and get out. Robs, I don't do it. How would you do it? Okay. Come on, Robin.
All right. Well, we've done a move. We've lived here as long as you have.
Okay.
And basically, we just kind of do it in pieces, at time, because we had to move. Like, it took a while to get everything moved, so we just kind of did it in shifts.
You did what you could when you could, because you could.
So
that's my motto. So 14 years of stuff. I mean, guys, I'm moving from a 6-car garage to guess how many? No garage. 6 cars. No, I don't have 6 cars, but that's how much space is there. I just need you to understand. I have 7 bedrooms in my house. There's like 17 rooms. Now, all of that has 14 years worth of crap. And so all of a sudden I'm like attached to things I have not even looked at in 10 years. I found a Rolex watch like in the bottom of a box. Bob and I found a whole bunch of money that we stashed. I'm not a whole bunch. Like, they were special mint, like $2 bills and stuff. And I mean, it's not like it was worth a lot of money, but so Kennedy's helping us pack for the one time she helped us pack for literally 10 seconds. And all she keeps saying is, we used to be so rich. We used to be so rich. And what's so funny is my man and I did have everything that the world said would bring you happiness. But 14 years ago today, we were so not happy. And so we know that it means nothing to gain the whole world and lose your soul. It means nothing, because they say it's easier to get the camel the camel through the eye of a needle than it is to get a rich man to heaven. And we were some rich peeps, but I don't know that we were any wiser then than we are now. And at some point today, today we're going to talk about what it means to be really wise. But the reality is I've been doing this move in a way that's wise through my eyes. My man, he'd beg to differ. You're Journeying with Judy right here on Lake 96.1, and we are all fired up this Memorial Day weekend because we are kicking off summer right here in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. We'll be back after the break. Okay, so welcome back. You're Journeying with Judy right here on Lake 96.1, and my man and I are moving on. And what's so funny is we are literally moving like Sanford and Son. Do you remember that show, Robs? That's the moving company. It's like Bob and Judy moving company. So we are working sun up to sundown. And here's what is so beautiful about me and my man is that we are an amazing team. Okay, so we think differently about how to approach this situation, but the end game through our eyes is always the same. And so the fact that I know my man now so much better than I did in the past, I love him. 14 years ago, I hated him. I loathed him for this period of time. And now I just really love my man, and I get him in a way where I can be so much more understanding. But what's so crazy is all of the stuff that we've accumulated and it over this 14 years and what's really important and what's not and what do you keep. But I mean, I could probably be on hoarders. Now, if you came to my house, you wouldn't think I was a hoarder, but now I'm not wanting to get rid of some stuff that I really, honestly, Rob's like it served no purpose in my life for all of this time. So what's so beautiful too is that scripture verse about how like what one man's trash is another man's treasure. And so we had Bobby's aunt who very generously loaned us a bunch of furniture to stage one of our houses. And, you know, she's like discarding it like it's no big deal. Meanwhile, it's this treasure to us. Well, now we're doing that. We're discarding some things that is a treasure to another person. I mean, Goodwill, like we are literally in the Goodwill line every single day with carloads full of stuff. So anyway, we're talking about being wise. And I'm wondering if 14 years ago, I think I am wiser. And we should be. Like, we should be wiser today than we were 14 years ago. I mean, we're expecting our kids to be wiser today than they were yesterday. So let's just define what being wise is. Being wise, biblically speaking, of course, even though this doesn't seem like a biblical show, it always is about Jesus because God can do anything more. I mean, he does what's impossible. He does things that are so much greater than we could ever ask, dream, or imagine. Like, we ask for these small things, and God is like, seriously, I want to do big things. And what he does is he brings us right to the brink, and when we're doubting and fearing and worrying, and all of a sudden what, Robs? He just delivers like so much better than we ever thought. So anyway, here's the deal. But can you tell I'm fired up, Robs? Yeah. I'm so fired up about the fact that we are closing this chapter. I mean, the only thing that could make it better is if we were leaving the state of Wisconsin, and a lot of people would agree with that statement who are not my super fans in life. But right now, we're going to stay here for a little bit longer, so you're going to have to deal with me here in this area just a little bit longer, but we're closer to leaving than we were. So celebrate that this Memorial Day 2017. So if I'm wise, I am showing or having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. That's what being wise is. So wise is the soundness of an action or a decision. So not only do you know, Robs, if you're wise, you're not only knowing, but you're doing. Okay, it's not only about making a decision, it's about doing the very thing that you know would be wise. And so what's so funny is a while back, I did a presentation for about 100 women about what it means to be a wise woman. Now, from the book of Proverbs, that's one of my favorite books in the Bible. It gives you a lot of stories about like either you're this or you're that. Either you're wise or you're dumb. I mean, it's just Solomon talking very specifically about those two things. It's black or it's white. You're wise or you're foolish. And so a wise person does things very different than someone who's foolish, right? So if I'm wise, I'm showing and having like good judgment. So number one, if you're wise, someone who's wise is generally a former fool. You with me? I love when I talk because even though I'm in a padded room just talking and not having any idea who's listening, Robin is like always so intently listening and affirming that this is some really good stuff. And the reason it's really good stuff is because God made up this stuff. Like God is saying you can usually become wise by first being a former fool. Okay. There's no more of a fool than Judy Hehr. Okay. So, okay. Rob says that she's more, but so here's the deal. When we are wise, we like discipline. We like to be disciplined. We like to, and we're able to receive constructive criticism because we know that it's for our highest and best good, right? So I love that I was once a former fool, and a fool, folly, according to scripture, is being bound up with a heart like a child, Robs. And it says discipline is far from you. When you are in a place of folly, discipline is far. Like, you don't want to know it. You don't want to see it. You don't want to hear it. And I've been there. Like, I've absolutely been there. And so now I want to consider myself a former fool, which meets the criteria of number one, now being someone who is wise. Okay. So it's not like we don't make any mistakes when we're wise. We make them, but we absolutely learn from them. We learn from them and we do not repeat them. Okay. So I definitely have tendencies towards folly. Like, if left to my own devices without the grace of God, I can promise you I would self-destruct. I mean, there's just proof. There's evidence to support that. Way more going against me than for me, which is why I so need Jesus, right? Robin can totally relate to that. So here's the deal with being wise or being foolish. Like, either you're rowing the boat or you're rocking it. Either you're rowing in this one direction, sometimes it feels like uphill, but if you're working towards something, then that means you're allowing something to not work against you, right? As a life coach and a leadership development coach, I'm always trying to have people reflect on that. Is this for you or against you? Like, is this thought, feeling, or action working on your behalf or against what it is, which is your highest and best good? So, Robin's giving me the finger. She spins her finger around as if to go, wrap it up. Anyway, okay, so she says I got to go to break. So I got to go to break, but we're talking about being wise. And if we're wise, we're learning from the past. We're reflecting. We're not reacting. We're realizing that sometimes we just got to say sorry about a decision that we made in order to move forward, right? And when we're wise, we're realizing that our way, it just ain't working. We'll be back after the break. Judy Hehr, Sanford & Sons, me and my man, moving my house. We're being wise. We'll be back. Thanks to Kunis Country Auto Group, because I think Greg Kunis is a whole lot wiser than me. We'll be back.
I beg your pardon. I never promised you a rose garden.
Okay, so the reason Robin's like, you have got to tell them why you have chosen this song to come from the break. I very deliberately choose the songs to go from segment 2 to 3 because I'm usually talking about that particular topic. And so my man and I told you we are literally moving like Sanford & Sons. Okay, there is no moving company. Judy and Bob are the moving company. And why we are moving, I need you to know that I have 3 children at home right now, and they literally just sit there and text. And then when we're gone too long at the other house, they call and ask what's for dinner and said they're starving to death. Okay. And I'm carrying out like couches and anyway. So my man and I, Bob has this trailer. And so we have put a lot of stuff on the trailer. Okay. And typically what happens with my man is it's really sunny out. And then when Bob goes to move the stuff on the trailer, which is not enclosed, this black cloud that follows my man everywhere, it just literally starts raining. I'm telling you, it's sunny. And he goes and loads up the whole car and it just starts raining. So the other day we loaded up like my son's whole bedroom set. So we had headboard, footboard, mattress, box spring, all kinds of stuff. And of course it started to rain and we had nothing to cover it. But our friend Todd Wilkins, we just love this guy. He is videotaping. You got to be careful because he's always videotaping you and you don't even realize it. But he was videotaping my man and I as we pulled out of the driveway. I was in one car behind Bob. He was pulling this trailer load full of stuff and it's falling off the back of the truck and he has this megaphone and this song playing. I beg your pardon. I never promised you a rose garden. And so here I am following my man like from one place to the next. It was the most appropriate thing because not only does it say there's got to be some rain sometime. It's funny because so many people, when I say that I'm moving, from this lake house, they feel pathetically sorry for me. And oh my gosh, I feel so bad for you. I have no bad feelings about moving. This is lifting so much pressure off of my man and I, where we can enjoy our life in such a different way and enjoy our financial resources in such a better wiser and just a better use of our finances than what we've been doing for the last however many years. And so it's so funny because this song was just so appropriately reminding us that, yeah, like I never promised you a rose garden. Like life is not supposed to be easy. It is absolutely supposed to be purposeful. And I can promise you that when 14 years ago on Memorial Day, when I was following my man with one car, following each other from St. Charles, Illinois to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, we weren't laughing. We weren't celebrating. We were in such a place of desperation, having these 4 children and trying to figure out how I was going to raise 4 kids without a father. To the point, Robs, where I just wanted him to die. It was just like, it'd be so much easier if he would just die. Well, anyway, he lived and we moved from, surviving through those times to thriving. And so I'm totally digging the fact that we are wiser. Like we are wiser today than we were 14 years ago. And we have weathered so many storms. And this is not a storm for my man and I. It might be a storm for my pathetically entitled children, but it's not a storm for my man and I. It is actually the rainbow that has come after some tumultuous times, navigating through some uncertainty, wondering like, what is God doing? When is he going to show up? Why, oh why? Where's my freaking rose garden, right? So anyway, we're talking today not only about me and this move, but what it means to be a wise person, someone who's wise, someone who shows or has particular experience, knowledge, and good judgment as a result of maybe not having that in the past. It's about having a sound mind and being able to take action and make decisions around that. So if you're wise, you are someone who was a former fool, right? But you're also someone who exercises patience. According to Scripture, a wise person, it actually says a wise woman, but we can apply it for everyone. It says a wise person is not only a former fool, but they exercise patience, right? So that's not only in circumstances in your life, but it's with people. We all got some sandpaper people. We got those people in our life who just wear us down. And so God says, oh no, they were put in your life specifically. So my man and I have such different approaches about how to do this move. And so it's like we're pressing. It's almost like when he's not here in my house, I purposely bang the wall. I bang the wall with the furniture and put a nick in it. I purposely drag stuff because it doesn't have felt on the bottom. It's like, because I know that he would die if he knew that I was doing that. It's like this little rebel in me. And then he'll say, how did you move this from point A to point B? And it's like, yeah, it's like, and then I sing the song, I never promised you a rose garden. Anyway. Okay. So if I'm exercising patience, I'm reflecting. I'm not reacting. And so are you. You are reflecting on the circumstance, the person, the situation in your life that God is trying to grow you, right? He's putting you through it, not only so you grow through it as you go through it. That's what he wants for us. So my father-in-law, good Lord rest his soul, he used to say, you're quick, you're confident, and you're wrong. When you're patient, you are not quick, confident, and wrong. You are reflecting. You are willing to see things from another perspective. Rob is telling me that I got to go. So if I'm patient, I'm choosing control. I am not losing control. I'm able to look inward and say, is this going in the direction I want to? Because if it's not, I got to turn this ship around. So, we have like 5 more points about what it means to be wise. So I'm thinking we might continue this journey next week. Maybe, maybe not. You know how I am. I'm a little scattered. So I'm not sure what we'll be talking about next week, but I can tell you that I do hope that you are mindful of the moments that you have in this beautiful place and space we call Lake Geneva. This Memorial Day weekend, be safe, make great memories. And if anyone wants to come and help my man and I move, you can come on right over to 630 South Lakeshore Drive and help us be moving some stuff. So in the meantime, if you're not going to do anything I recommended, you're going to be foolish instead of wise, then I guess you would just be keeping it hot, honest, open, and transparent. Peace out.